some of the next labs we're going to be doing, which we're going to use the Vernier video analysis software, making our own videos for some momentum collisions. So when you open up the software, I want you to go and scroll down through the sample videos and go to this one on the left column that says colliding carts. Okay, make sure you use the one that just says colliding carts. Don't use the one that says unequal masses. So we want to use this one right here. So click that. It opens up. A few things we want to do right away is we don't want this table down here. So click this icon to the top right and unclick data table. Okay. All right. So we just want the graph. And in the graph, what we're going to be looking at, if I just play the video, okay, it's a cart colliding with a cart at rest, okay? Now, both carts have a mass of 524, right? And then this cart is pushed into that one. They're only moving in the X direction, so I want to get rid of the Y data in this graph. So I click on this label over here for the axes. So I click that, and I'm just going to unclick Y, okay? So we're only going to get a graph of the X motion, okay? Now, you don't have to change any of these settings because it already defaulted to the correct settings. It's the video frame rate is 10, and we want to advance by 1 frame in the video, okay? Now, we have to set up our system, our scale, right? So the scale tool, we want to go, here is the meter. So this is going to go to one end, and this will go to the other end. And we have established that 518 pixels is 1 meter. Next, we want to pick the origin. Okay, so because it's this car moving horizontally, we're going to set the origin to the car that starts moving. So right there, the middle of that yellow dot. Okay. That's good. Okay, before we start adding points, we have 2 objects. So what I need to do is I need to add another object here. Okay. Now here's object 1. It's blue. I'm going to change its color. So if you see what I just did, I click these 3 dots over here. It opens it up. I click on this icon. When I scroll over it. I'm going to make this a bright green. Okay, right there is good. And let's put the mass in as 524 because that's what we know the mass to be. All right, back. Let's add a new object. All right, let's change its color. So let's do some options here. Let's make this one red. Okay, and let's fix its mass to 524. Okay, now you can see that right now the object that we can add points to is the red one, but I want to start with the green one. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and over here on the left, it's a highlighted green. So those are going to be the green points, and I want to put green on this one that's going to be moving. All right, so I'm ready to track, right? So when you hit this icon right here, right? Now I can add points. So I go right to the center of the dot on this cart, and I just click. Okay, and it advanced, and we see that it generated a data point. Click it again. All right, keep doing that. All right, so I see that it has collided with this cart. This cart is now moving. So I want to just keep clicking on this cart until this, on object 1 until object 2 gets towards the end. And I can watch the video cursor. When it gets close to this last triangle, I'll know that there's no more video. So I just need to keep clicking on this because it shows it's at rest now. Keep clicking. Okay, that's the last one. All right. So I have generated all the points for cart one. And when I started doing this, it added Y points to the axis. So I want to fix that. Let's go back in here and let's click off all the Ys because we just want to look at X. Okay. All right. Now I gotta go back. That was an accident. Let me get rid of that point right there. All right. Now I want to go back. I want to take the video, go back to the beginning. So grab this cursor right here, bring the video all the way back to the beginning, click on objects, and let's click on object 2. So I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm doing it for object 2. Now I'm going to add the data for this one. So same thing, click, 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 click. So it's going to get close to hitting it soon. Okay, it hit it a little bit. It moved it a tiny bit, so I got to move my cursor a little bit. Okay. Put all the data points in. That's it. Okay. Now that I have all the data for both objects, right? What I want to do is I want to do some analysis in the graph. So I'm just going to pull the graph out a little bigger, okay? Okay, when I get the graph enlarged, I'm going to want to get the slope of object 1 and object 2, where they're moving, okay? Now these red dots on here, we should probably change them so the colors match. So these are red, but we really want them to be this bright green because that's object 1. So I'm just going to click on this and let's fix the color to bright green. Okay. And then object 2, right? They're giving me in this kind of, I don't know, light green color. So let's change that. Click on that. That should be red. So let's fix this. Okay. So if I go to apply fit here, okay, apply curve fit. When I do that, it's doing a linear fit for all the points, okay, for the green and the red line. But I want the linear fit for where it's moving, okay? I want the slope here. I want the slope for these points on the red dots, and I want the slope on these green dots here, right? I know over here where it's flat, I know it's at rest, okay? So here's object 2. It's not moving, it's not moving, it's not moving. It's at rest, right? Object 1 is moving towards it, right? So I know that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this point right here, this last point. I'm going to click and drag the cursor to the left, okay? So I've highlighted this section of the graph, right? Now when I hit apply curve fit, right, it has put a line, it's fitted a line to those points, so it's going to give me that slope, and for the object 2, it's fitted it right there. So I hit apply. Okay. So what I see here, I can bring this up if I want, is that object 1's slope is 0.4907, right? Slope is rise over run. The y-axis is meters. The x-axis is seconds. So that's telling me the speed of object 1. And when I look at the slope of object 2 in that time interval, it's 0, right? And that makes sense. It's not moving, okay? Good. Next, let's move this down a little bit. Get it out of the way. Put it right down there if you want. Now I want to compare the slope of object 1 before the collision to the slope of object 2 after the collision. Conservation of momentum says that the momentum I have before should equal the momentum I have after. which means that the mass of car 1 times its velocity should equal the mass of car 2 times its velocity after the collision, okay? Because car 1, we can see after the collision is at rest, okay? So that means that car 2 should have the same velocity that car 1 had in the beginning, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm bringing my cursor. I'm going to start where this point is, click and drag to highlight these points to the right. Repeat the same process, apply curve fit. Okay, apply. And there, what it's doing here is it's giving me the slope after the collision, all right? It's telling me what's happening after the collision. So now object 1, it's not completely at rest, but it's really close, right? 0.002527. And object 2 is at 0.4746 compared to 0.4907. Now, if you were to actually calculate, what this momentum is for object 1 after, and then add it to this momentum for object 2, then maybe, it still comes out to, very close to being conserved. Now, what I want you to think about while you're doing this lab and other labs is why is it not exactly conserved? I want you to think about that and be able to answer that question with your group. All right? So that's the process that you're going to apply to some of the labs that we're going to be doing. Okay?